Under the lights at Daytona Beach, it can only mean one thing: the start of a new Piston Cup Series season. Welcome to the first race of Season 3 of the Piston Cup Series under the lights here at the iconic Daytona International Speedway. The biggest field in Piston Cup Series makes it start here at the biggest race of the season. 45 drivers, 12 teams, and one champion, but starts here. The biggest field in history with 45 drivers. 3 didn't even qualify to get into this race. We'll get into that and the other new points formats and these new drivers, as Boob and Ryan Gosling will lead us as the green flag in the start of Season 3 of the Piston Cup Series. Great to be back with all of you for a new season, and look at that brand new graphic. I want to give special thanks to Clable for this graphic that I was able to change a little bit, but all the programming and the style was made by him. I only made a couple of customizations here and there. As the drivers exit turn 1, Boob getting a big push from Baby Driver in second place. Now Boob goes to the top lane and Baby Driver will have the bottom lane. Now Captain Fatfuck from Tax Evasion Racing is getting out of the top lane into the middle lane, and now to the bottom lane. He goes from the top to the bottom lane. And now Captain Fatfuck is taking the lead, entering turns 3 and 4. Now coming out of turn 4. Tax Evasion Racing has never won a race in Piston Cup Series. Can that change here today at the biggest race of the season? And Captain Fatfuck will lead lap 1, and I Fox camera angled it. But Captain Fatfuck, I believe, led the very first lap of the race. But Baby Driver is right next to him. He's trying to get that lead. And new to this season, if you lead a lap, it's an extra point. So there's extra incentive if you lead a lap. But if you lead the most laps in a race, it's now worth 2 points. So every point matters. Every lap matters if you want to make the playoffs in this series. And Bronny James, the son of last season's champion, got the lead up there for a moment. But it's John Cena in that bottom lane with a huge burst of speed. John Cena now also trying to get the lap bonus, but Clint Boner is going to go to the inside of him, trying to chase him down for this lap bonus. I don't think he's able to get them there, and John Cena will lead lap 2. But it's Clint Boner, the rookie, trying to lead a lap. So far, it's been veterans of the series leading the race. As John Cena goes back to the bottom lane now, another Tax Evasion Racing car, Cage, is now in the running. Tax Evasion Racing is looking very good so far. Maybe they could get their very first win, like I said earlier. 2 of Clint Boner's teammates, Lewis Hamlin and Kevin Harvick, did not qualify for this race alongside Richard Hammond, new to this season. 45 drivers are in this season, but only the 42 will qualify for each race. So after each race, 3 drivers will disqualify and not get a single point. But speaking of points, it's 3 wide for the fucking lead. And Walter White, I think by an edge, is going to get the bonus as well. This is some insane racing already. And we're on to lap 4. The field is all within a second of each other. And like I said, most of the people up front so far have either had a couple of seasons or at least one season so far in Piston Cup Series. My point on the bottom lane, Walter White, the winningest driver in the series, has not won Daytona yet. He's trying to add that to his resume. Same with Homelander behind him, the Season 1 champ, trying to add Daytona. But the 2 of them are getting slowed down, and Cage and John Cena will go to the bottom lane and work together. John Cena and Cage, they move again together, but Nick Cage will abandon John Cena this time. Cena goes to the bottom, Cage to the bottom, and Cage will lead a lap. Tax Evasion Racing has led lap 1 and lap 4. It's their 26th race. Can this finally be their first win after 3 seasons for tax evasion racing. They're doing well so far. They're not able to keep the lead both times as Walter White will go to the lead with the help of Homelander, but Walter White immediately goes to the top lane. He sees something on that top lane. He's able to keep the draft for now and the lead for now, but Homelander, our Season 1 champion, is making it 3 wide as we head the lags by a little bit, but the Season 1 champion, Homelander, leading off of turn 4. The Season 1 champ has only had a championship and 1 race win. He's trying to add Daytona to his trophy case. But on the bottom lane, it's Sergio Bell with a big burst of speed. They were so close there. We'll wait to see who led the lap there, but Sergio Bell has not won a race since Season 1. This is his 3rd team in his career, this time with Benyere. Can he finally end his winless streak? He hasn't won since Season 1. What a way to break that streak here today at Daytona. And he goes up top lane, but Chris Pratt decides to juke him out. And now Chris Pratt moves to the middle lane. Now it's Hauling Ass, the daughter of Bob Cockass, on that bottom lane. 2 Benyere drivers in this 3-wide battle for the lead. And the newcomers are now coming to the field. Hauling Ass, Shaq, Chris Pratt, your top 3 currently. Hauling Ass getting a push here from Shaq right behind her in that Carvana scheme. And Hauling Ass will lead, and I believe becomes the first woman to lead a lap in the Pistain Cup Series, making her dad proud. Her crew chief is her dad, Bob Cockass, making him proud there with that lead lap as we head to lap 7. 2 Benyere drivers on the bottom lane, Hauling Ass and Winchester. Then that middle lane is Dante and Shaq, Last Road Motorsports teammates working together. A lot of drafted teammates here today. I mean, look at that. Our top 5 is all Last Road Motorsports or Benyere's drivers. Chris Pratt and Shaq working together. Another teammates, Hauling Ass and Winchester, working the bottom lane. And another Last Road Motorsports driver, Dante, in the middle. It's the new teams and the new drivers who have now taken charge of this race, as Hauling Ass looks to lead another lap here, but her teammate on the Winchester getting a push from Gustavo Fring on that bottom lane. Hauling Ass in the middle lane. Not sure if that's where you want to be, or if she's making room for her teammate Winchester to possibly also lead a lap and get another point for her team. Sam and Dean Winchester, the Winchester brothers on that bottom lane, getting a push from Gustavo Fring for the first time ever. Someone has in the passenger seat, and they will change positions of who's driver and who's in the passenger seat once they pit. But it's Hauling Ass gaining some speed on that top lane. Gustavo Fring on the bottom lane as well. And Gustavo Fring hasn't won a race so far. It's his 3rd season. Maybe he could win this race. Gustavo Fring started 2nd to last, and he almost gets the lead at Daytona there. But it's Nami who will lead that lap. 3 straight laps led by women drivers so far. Great to see it. Now Paige Callahan, a 3rd woman driver, has come to the lead here. The women are taking over this race so far. You love to see it. Paige Callahan trying to make it 4 straight laps led by women drivers with 3 different drivers leading. But she moves to the top lane. EDP moves to the middle lane. They're both making room for Dylan Elliott on the bottom lane, but EDP with a massive speed. And right behind EDP is Season 1 Daytona 500 winner, Soldier Boy. That's who you want pushing you into turn 4 at Daytona. But it's Dylan Elliott getting pushed from a legend as well as Ricky Bobby, giving Dylan Elliott push. But Elliott moves out of the way in the middle, trying to get some help from his teammate Hunt behind him, trying to work together in draft. But it's EDP who will lead that lap. With Soldier Boy still working with EDP, they move to the bottom lane together. They've moved, I think, 3 different lanes together. These 2 are working together, and that's who I would want to push from our Season 1 winner at Daytona, Soldier Boy. But now he abandons EDP, and he's finally breaking that alliance with EDP this race. EDP in the top lane, Soldier Boy in the middle lane, and it's Ricky Bobby, a great super speedway racer himself, in the bottom lane. Ricky Bobby on the bottom lane will get the lead coming out of turn 4. Some of the greatest super speedway racers in the field right now are in the lead, as Ryan Reynolds leading that bottom lane. Won Daytona last season. Soldier Boy, the Season 1 Daytona winner, in that middle lane is Ricky Bobby, that great super speedway racer that's also in the front here. 3 wide between 3 super speedway legends, 2 of our previous Daytona winners leading lanes right now. Soldier Boy in that middle lane, Ryan Reynolds on the bottom. The stars are out tonight as LeBron James, our Season 2 champion, has made it to the front of the field Like I said, a lot of legends right now have made it to the front of this field, but it's Ryan Gosling to the lead off of turn 4. He's going to pass all of those drivers I mentioned before that I glazed this lap, and Ryan Gosling goes to the top lane. Boob, our pole sitter, on the bottom lane. But it's Ryan Gosling who will lead the lap there. 2 drivers who qualified and started on the front row are now back, battling for the lead here. Another driver, Captain Fatbook, making his way through the field back to the lead. But it's Boob and his teammate Vaughn Riley on that bottom lane. Crosshair for Toyota's Patriot Racing has not won a race in Season 1. They move together, but Vaughn Riley decides to leave his teammate high and dry. And now he'll go to the middle lane. Teammates battling here for the lead now. Bronny James on that bottom lane. His dad won a championship last season. Can Bronny James live up that legacy as he exits turn 4, leading at Daytona on that bottom lane, getting a push from a fellow teammate, Baby Driver, but he goes in the middle lane and blocks McQueen, but Bronny James will lead the lap there. Will the James family legacy continue in this series as we head to lap 13? Lucky number 13 is Baby Driver on that bottom lane, looking to get the lead. I don't think we've had a single wreck in our previous 2 Daytona 500s. We haven't had a single wreck in any of our Daytona 500 races yet, as Baby Driver moves to the top lane. These drivers are surprisingly clean for this amazing super speedway track that's amazingly dangerous as well, as Clint Boner looking to the lead here with the help of John Cena. Right behind him, Ken Cena regained the lead. He's working together, but he abandons Clint Boner coming out of turn 4. He wants that lead back. So does Walter White, but Clint Boner will lead there for Stewart's Ass Racing. The rookie has led a lap, as well as the other rookie, Bronny James, but it's Walter White and John Cena, the veterans, coming back to the front of the field, trying to regain this lead. And it's Willie Nelson, another tax evasion racing driver up here. Cage, another tax evasion racing driver as well. 3 of their drivers have been in the top 10 at least once so far. They're looking really well this race, as Willie Nelson, working together with John Cena, moves from the top lane to the bottom lane together. Willie Nelson, can he break the streak for tax evasion racing, or will it be John Cena, who won last season, trying to win again here today? John Cena won Boner Crusher last season, trying to get the Daytona win here today, and they were practically tied. I don't know if Willie Nelson got that lap there. I think John Cena just barely held on to it, but now it's Willie Nelson. If he's able to hold on for a lap here, he can get a lap bonus. We're going 4 wide. SpongeBob, what the fuck are you doing? And Cage, and they almost wrecked there. We went 4 wide for a second. Thank God they saved it there. That could have been bad. But it's Cage in the middle lane with his teammate, tax evasion racing teammate, Willie Nelson on the top lane. And it's Walter White on the bottom lane. A lot of druggies here. And it's 4 wide for the lead. And it's Homelander, the Season 1 champion, on the bottom lane, getting a push here. It's the winningest driver in the series, Walter White, versus the Season 1 champion, Homelander, for the lead. But it's Homelander who will lead us at the Daytona 500, as we're almost already halfway through this race. And it's been some good, clean racing, as Sergio Bell goes back to the lead. Like I said, he hasn't won since Season 1. Can he impress his new team, Benier, with a win here today? But it's 2 rookies drafting with him, actually 3. All Last Row Motorsports drivers are now up in this top 5 battle. Chris Pratt, Dante, Shaquille O'Neal, these 3 teammates working together to get back in the top 5. And it's Chris Pratt versus Shaq, 2 teammates working against each other right now, battling for the lead. But it's Shaq with a good push for Gustavo Fring. Shaq started this race in last place. Can he become the first driver to go from last to first in the Pit Stop Cup Series, as Shaq will lead us to lap 16 halfway through this race? And Gustavo Fring himself finished second to last, and now he's up into this first place battle. Amazing drive from both of these drivers, but Sam and Dean Winchester for Benier, who are now in the lead on that bottom lane, but they move to the top lane. Interesting move from them there. Will that work move out for them? But now it's Nami on the bottom lane, back to the lead again, and that's not who I want pushing behind me. Karma Police, right behind Nami. I'd be fucking shitting my pants if Karma Police the Georgia State Patrol's best driver, was right behind me, just willing to pit maneuver me. And speaking of pitting, our first set of multiple drivers pitting right now, led by Karma Police and Ryan Reynolds. We're having green flag stops at Daytona, and it's Fujiwara, Pinkman Baby driver Boob as well pitting there. Over halfway through this race already, and drivers are already coming in for the first and only pit stop of this race that got to make it on fuel. That's Gustavo Fring, Hunt, and Nami. These three drivers paddling the lead right now. Those drivers who pit really caused a big gap between these leaders and the rest of the field. Will that work through for them as we go through this green flag pit stop cycle? In previous seasons, you could pretty much save through the whole race and not have to pit unless you ran out of gas on the last lap or two. As Nami and Hunt will go into pit, Gustavo Fring comes out. A bunch of drivers taking this opportunity, our second set of drivers pitting. But anyways, with this new car, we have smaller fuel tanks so that you're guaranteed to at least have one pit stop, maybe two depending on the race. So everybody has at least one pit stop they have to make. And now it just adds more strategy, and pit road stops make a lot more drama now, and they matter a lot more and causes a lot different racing now that these drivers have to worry about making it out on fuel and worrying about tires. New drafting package this season as well, but so far here at Daytona, they've been pretty clean with it, as Queso and Gustavo Fring are leading us. With 14 to go, our last batch of drivers who have not pitted yet. As we see, they're almost lapping the drivers who've already pitted, and almost everyone left will come down pit road. All the Toyotas, a couple Fords in there as well, some Toyotas and Fords working together here. Manufacturer teammates, all that matters when you're making pit stops. Who you're going to draft with, who's going to go down pit road with you. And Chase Mitzko is the only driver who has not pitted yet. We'll see if that either helps him or really hurts him a lot. As Karma Police are the leader, I believe, of the first set of drivers pitting, is passing a lot of those drivers who pit on that second set of pit stops. But I think it's Winchester who's leading this race, and I think he led that second group of people who pit. So we'll see how this affects this race as we head to 13 to go. The field's a little strung out right now, but we already see a pack forming. They're going to slowly catch all these drivers ahead of them, and we're going to go back to pack racing in probably just a few laps. And it looks like it's going to be the third Daytona 500 without a caution in a row, as this field is passing this third set of drivers who pitted. They're just coming out of pit road, and it's Fring and Shaq who are leading this group, I think. Now, there's a couple of drivers ahead of them, but it's Gustavo Fring who started second to last, getting help from Shaq who started from last, and it's Queso Sergio Bell who are leading this third group, and I believe leading this race. So it seems like staying out is the way to go here at Daytona. The third set of drivers who pit are the ones leading the race so far. But this pack full of people who pit in the second group and the first group are slowly catching up to these leaders. It will be a few laps before they catch them up. And Fujiwara is spinning around. Boob! Boob goes back on the track. Karma Police in the air, on the wall. We got the big one. Cage slams into Karma Police. Cage now spinning on the racetrack. Everyone coming through. Walter White slams into him. Willie Nelson involved. Ryan Gosling slams into Walter White. In our first caution in 3 seasons at Daytona comes right after everybody made their green flag pit stops. This can completely change the race. Rookie Fujiwara on the inside of Boo makes it 4 wide, and Boo comes down, gets spun around by Fujiwara up in the track, and Fujiwara survives that wreck. Now let's go on with our pole sitter Boob. It's coming down to 3 wide between him, Winchester, Bobby, and then Fujiwara on the bottom lane, but Ricky Bobby pushes him down. Fujiwara has nowhere to go. Boob has nowhere to go. Gets spun out, comes back on the track, hits Karma Police, causes him to go up. Karma Police gets hit, and Boob's a sitting duck in the middle of it. Everybody trying to avoid him. He's right in the middle of the track, and for the most part, he gets avoided, but Willie Nelson, Dylan Elliott make contact, and there's nowhere for Boob to go. Ricky Bobby leading this pack, trying to chase down these leaders. He's 3 wide, goes a bit down. Right when it goes 4 wide, he pushes Boob down. That causes him to come back up and cause a big one at Daytona. Another view here, Karma Police, they wreck right in front of him. Boob comes back on track, slams Karma Police into Ryan Reynolds, he gets some air there, spins around, and Cage just goes straight for him, and it's another hit for Karma Police. A tough day for him. Let's go to Nick Cage, who led a lap earlier here today, but his run might end here. They're wrecking right in front of him, and he just goes to the bottom lane and tries to wreck Karma Police for some reason, then gets spun out by hauling ass after making contact with Karma Police. Walter White slams in the cage. I don't know what the fuck Nick Cage was doing there. Lots of talent there. Clouds to the head. He goes down into Karma Police, then spun around by hauling ass after slamming the Karma Police. Just stops in the middle of the track. Walter White slams in the cage, and Cage makes contact with his teammate, Willie Nelson. Here was Walter White with another pack. They're wrecking right in front of him. Clouds up in the air, smokes in the air. Walter White gets by Boob, and he just slams in the cage. Tries to go as slow as possible, but still runs in the cage. The other two lanes were blocked. He couldn't go into them. Another view here, smoke. They can't really see anything, and he just barely misses Boob, and he has nowhere to go. No one's letting him over. Another view for Karma Police. They're full wide, right in front of him. Boob gets spun out, comes back on the trap, slams at Karma Police. He gets on top of Ryan Reynolds, hits the wall, and then he's on top of Boob, gets spun around, and Cage just goes right for him. No idea why he did that. Here's Willie Nelson, another tax evasion racing driver. They wreck in front of him, cloud and smoke in the air. He just barely moves to avoid Boob, but he still gets some contact between Boob and Oppenheimer. He gets spun around, makes contact with Walter White. Back at Daytona, Sergio Bell leading with Gustavo Fring behind him. We're going to restart with 8 laps to go. Try to do double file restarts for this race, but Better Cautions kept shitting its pants when I tried to do that. We will have overtime if they shit the bed again, so we won't have to worry about this race under caution. But Sergio Bell will lead us to the green flag with 8 laps to go. Sergio Bell trying to get his first win since season 1, but it's Gustavo Fring on that bottom lane. 2 Toyotas leading this race with 8 to go. A lot of green and red on that ticker. All those drivers in red losing positions after wrecking out. If a driver has an asterisk right next to their name, that means they led a lap here today. If their name turns gray, that means they're out of the race. But multiple drivers involved. I think we're going to get multiple DNFs from that. As Sergio Bell is leading with 3 wide already behind him. 4 wide, Queso on the bottom lane, spins, Gustavo Fring onto the apron, and Gustavo Fring will save it. That might be one of the best saves I've ever seen. Queso spun around Gustavo Fring, but he's still back on this racetrack, battling for the lead as we head to 7 laps to go in this race. A masterclass of a driver, Gustavo Fring, started this race second to last. He gets spun around, and he's still battling for a lead, avoided causing a huge wreck for these leaders as we hit a little lag spike, but Sergio Bell will go to the top lane. Gustavo Fring in the middle lane. Thank God he did not cause another wreck, but I think he might have just earned driver of the day. I don't want Queso behind me after that. He's almost spinning around Sergio Bell as well, but Gustavo Fring goes to the bottom, working with Shaq again. These two keep working with each other all day. Shaq started in last place, and now he's in second. Gustavo Fring started second to last. He's now leading the Daytona 500. The ticker's finally not broken as Gustavo Fring will lead us to the final 5 laps of the Daytona 500, leading on that top lane, working with Shaq. They're 4 wide behind him, and Nami back to lead on that bottom lane. Can she become the first female driver to win a race in Piston Cup, let alone the Daytona 500? She moves to top lane, and the second caution is out. We will have overtime at Daytona. We'll check in on that, but we'll see who will win this race to the finish line and lead under caution. Is Fujiwara with a big burst of speed on that bottom lane with Mitsuko, Dante, and Medium Motorfuck all working on the bottom lane. It's going to be side by side between Mitsuko and Fujiwara for the lead, and Fujiwara just barely gets out Mitsuko. Cautions breed cautions as we're with the second pack trying to catch up with the leaders. Paige Callahan right in the middle of this pack. LeBron James will spin around John Cena and collects himself, and Paige Callahan spins her out into the infield. And oh my God, those drivers doing their best to avoid her. And luckily there was no other damage from that. LeBron James spins John Cena, goes down on him, and John Cena will survive, but LeBron James collects himself, Paige, Winchester, and now he'll just spin her out in front of these other drivers. John Cena on the bottom lane, LeBron comes down on him, spins him into the pack, but he survives it. The same thing goes for Baby Driver. In the top lane, makes contact with the wall, but that's what saves him and keeps him going. Third back here, they wreck right in front of them. Dexter Morgan on the apron with Brian James running the 18. Rest in peace, Kyle Busch. And Dexter Morgan goes down and avoids them. Great wreck avoidance there by Dexter Morgan. Marcus Aurelius in his first start right behind Vaughn Riley. And he almost makes contact, but he will also avoid them and almost wrecks Barney James coming back on the track. Now here's Barney James on the apron with Dexter Morgan. I think he actually spins out Dexter Morgan, almost makes contact with Paige, but survives. Let's see that. That kind of pushes him there, almost makes contact with Paige, and comes back on the track. Here with Dexter Morgan, Barney James kind of spins him out, but he also makes contact with Aurelius. Our first ever overtime finish for the Daytona 500. The pace car goes to pit road, and it's Takumi Fujiwara in his very first start, trying to win the biggest race in Piston Cup Series for his team, Team USA Racing, as we go back to the green flag here at Daytona. The ticker broke from being in overtime, so I'll tell you, we have 2 laps to go. Maybe another if they cause another wreck, as Fujiwara goes to the top lane with Chase Mitsuko, but it's Dante Mini Motorfuck on that bottom lane that will take the lead. Dante for Last Rose Motorsports, trying to get his first win in his first start with his team's first ever race too, but it's Meteor Motorfuck, another rookie right behind him, trying to work with him, and he goes to the top lane with him. Both these drivers trying to win the biggest race in Pit Stang Cup in their first ever race. It's 3 wide for the lead into turn 3 with a lap and a half to go. And it's Chase Mitsuko on that bottom lane getting a push from Sergio Bell. Chase Mitsuko trying to get his first career victory and get it for Super Sass Racing. Chase Mitsuko to the top lane. Sergio Bell on the bottom lane. Side by side for the lead as we head to the final lap of the Daytona 500. White flags in the air. Sergio Bell goes to the top lane, blocks Chase Mitsuko, goes back to the middle lane, is not able to block that bottom lane. And it's SpongeBob SquarePants on the bottom lane. I don't even think he has a driver's license, and he's leading the Daytona 500. Gustavo Fring goes with him to the top lane. Gustavo Fring stays in the middle lane. SpongeBob on the top lane. Shaq on the bottom lane. 3 wide for the lead at Daytona. Coming in turns 3 and 4. And it's Shaq on the bottom lane, who started this race in last place, and he's leading Daytona 500 coming off of turn 4. Gustavo Fring with the push from Homelander in the middle lane, and Gustavo Fring at the last second will win the Daytona 500. Gustavo Fring, after 3 seasons, will start from second to last to winning the Daytona 500. Here's the move of the race. He moves with SpongeBob, but then he ditches him at the last second. Leaves SpongeBob in that top lane. Gustavo Fring stays in the middle lane as Shaq on the bottom lane is trying to pass Gustavo Fring, but Gustavo Fring has the Season 1 champion Homelander right behind him. Shaq trying to become the first driver to go from last to first in a Pit Stang Cup Series race, but Gustavo Fring in that middle lane gets the last second push. Homelander and Gustavo Fring working together here, and Gustavo Fring, thanks to Homelander, will win his first race after 3 seasons. The entire top 13 finished within half a second of each other, but it's Gustavo Fring by 0.047 seconds will win the Daytona 500 by a nose, second to last to first, and Shaq goes from last to second, almost becoming the first driver to go from last to first. What an amazing Daytona 500 we've had. Maybe the best Daytona race we've had. Maybe the best Pit Stang Cup race we've had, as we had a record-breaking 17 different drivers lead laps here today. Sergio Bell leading the way with 7. He'll get 2 extra points for that. And the rest of these 16 drivers, glad we had the new rule about leading just 1 lap will get you an extra point, with Fujiwara with 5, Gustavo Fring with 3 laps led, Hall & Ass with 2 laps led, Cage with 2 laps led, and Homelander also with 2 laps led. Nami with 2 laps led. I think the first woman driver who's led laps in Pit Stang Cup Series. Chase Mitsuko also with 2 laps led. Captain Fat Fuck for Texas Vision Racing with 1 lap led. John Cena 1 lap led. Walter White 1 lap led. EDP with 1 lap led. Ricky Bobby, Ryan Gosling, Bronny James, Clint Boner, all with 1 lap led, and Shaq all the way from the back of the field led a lap here today and almost led the most important lap here today, but comes in second. Chilean driver Gustavo Fring joins American driver Soulja Boy and Canadian driver Ryan Reynolds as winners of the Great American Race, and second is Shaq. From last to second, Homelander in third, our Season 1 champion, trying to add Daytona to his trophy cabinet, is not able to do it here today, but gave Gustavo Fring the push for the win. The Rock in fourth and Hunt in fifth, both trying to get their first wins, but they get a top 5 instead. Sixth is SpongeBob, who almost won this race, but lost out on the last half lap of this race. Nami in 7th, Fujiwara in 8th, Sergio Bell in 9th, all drivers who led today. Queso in 10th, and Dante in 11th. Last Road Motorsports with 3 of their drivers in the top 11 with Shaq, Queso, and Dante. Other notables include Tax Evasion Racing in 14th and 17th respectively, trying to get their first win but didn't get it. Same thing with Drink Motorsports in 7th and 15th with Nami and EDP. Teammates definitely mattered here today. As we go further into the field, you see drivers like John Cena, Willie Nelson, Hauling Ass, who all led laps here today, but they just went down the order from wrecks or just getting out of the draft. Bronny James finished in 27th with his dad, LeBron, in 28th. The son's definitely happy to be his dad out there. And we get to DNS, all from the big one earlier in the race. Ryan Gosling, Walter White, and Nick Cage all led laps here today, but just got unlucky and wrecked. They'll at least get one extra point for their troubles for leading a lap. Same does not go for Karma Police. He'll finish in 41st. Still a good race. He was also up there in the lead a lot. I mean, he didn't lead a lap. He was up in that battle for sure. But he also gets unlucky and wrecks out of this race. And Lewis Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Richard Hammond, like I said on top of the show, did not qualify here today. Do not get any points. And that's going to be true for all the races. Whoever the 3 drivers who don't qualify for a race, they will not get points for that race. So Hamlin, Harvick, Hammond looking to qualify for the next race at Darlington and get some points back. First race of the season means the point standings are basically the same as the finishing order. A couple drivers might be tied in points with leading a lap here today, but pretty much the same as the finishing order. Of course, Gustavo Fring's in first with 51 points. And down in 16th, currently in the last spot to get into the playoffs. The top 16 at the end of the season will get into the playoffs. And right now it's Oppenheimer with 27. Fought in the championship battle last season. The first race of this season is the cutoff line for these drivers. Again, first race of the season. If you want to pause and look for your driver, go ahead and do it. But pretty much the same as the finishing order here today. Cage finished last today with 1 point, but he's thankful he at least led 2 laps today, so he gets the lap bonus and gets 2 points. It's tied with Karma Police with 2, but Hamlin, Harvick, Hammond still looking for their first points. And here's the constructor standings, 1 race in the season. Last Road Motorsports, the brand new team leading the way with 128 points. Having 3 drivers in the top 11 will do that. Team USA, last season's champion, in second. Los Polos Hermanos Racing with the win here today gets them 102 points. 2391 Racing with 91 points. That fits. Rock Hard Racing with 87. One of the new teams, GBI with 81. Ladreet Motorsports with 77. Tax Evasion Racing, I thought they were going to get their first win, but they at least finished with 67 points. Benyard with the 58. Stewart Sass Racing with the 54. And the Season 1 Constructor Champions, Crosshair Petronas Patriot Racing, and dead last with 47. Thank you for coming to the first race of Season 3, and I'll see you at Darlington next week.